Hello everyone, welcome to our next lesson at looking at triangles that are non-right angle. This is a continuation from the cosine rule, and once again we're looking at triangles where we have three pieces of information and we're trying to figure out the fourth piece of information. And this time we're looking at the sine rule. Now when you use the sine rule is when you have one side and two angles, or when you have two sides and one non-included angle. Okay? So for instance, if you had this side and this angle given, and then another side, you could figure out what that angle is. Or, if you had two angles, and one of the sides across from the angles, let's say this one, we could figure out the other side. So let's just look at a couple examples. So for instance, if I had triangle where my side is 7 and I have an angle of 15 and an angle of 82, well, you would use the sine rule because I've got two angles and a side that's across from one of the angles. So we could say 7 divided by the sine of 15 is equal to, let's call it x, divided by the sine of 82. And therefore x is equal to 7 times the sine of 82 divided by the sine of 15. Put that into your calculator and you should get an answer of 26.8. Remember to put your calculator in degrees for this question because the triangle is in degrees. Another example is, suppose I have a triangle like this, where you've got an angle of 56, a side of 16.8, a side of 13.5, and you're trying to figure out what this angle is. Well, once again, you can use the sine rule, where you say the sine of theta divided by 13.5, they're across from each other, is equal to the sine of 56 divided by 16.8, and therefore the sine of theta is equal to 13.5 times the sine of 56 divided by 16.8. Once you figure that number, then you do theta is equal to sine -1, so the inverse sine of that number, and you get theta is equal to 41.8. Now if you can see, it says beware of the ambiguous case. So sometimes there's two answers when you try to find the angle using the sine rule, and I'll discuss that next in my next video on the ambiguous case. Hope that helps. Have a good day.